To whoever's listening to this right now, I'd appreciate if you listen to all of it. Out of all the miles I've driven across this country, all the truck stops, all the rest areas, all the strangers I've met along the way, there's one little boy I've never been able to forget. If you've been here since the beginning of this channel, you might remember him. His name is Silas, and the first time I told his story was episode 3. But tonight, this isn't just an old story. This is happening right now, and I need to tell it. I met Silas a while ago during a normal fuel stop at a Circle K. Just another day on the road. Nothing special about it. I had parked the truck, stepped out for a minute, and that's when a man walked up with a little boy beside him. That little boy was Silas. His uncle introduced him to me. We started talking a little bit, and he explained something about Silas that stuck with me immediately. Silas had been born with serious heart defects. The kind of medical battle most kids should never have to face. Hospital visits, surgeries, doctors watching his life like it was hanging by a thread. But standing there in that parking lot, you wouldn't see any of that. What you saw was a kid staring at my truck like it was the coolest thing in the world. That big semi sitting there probably looked like a spaceship to him. His uncle asked me if Silas could sit in the driver's seat, and of course I said yes. I reached down, lifted him up into that truck, and the moment he sat down behind that wheel, his whole face lit up, like he had just been handed the keys to the entire country. His hands wrapped around that steering wheel, eyes wide, looking out over the hood like he was about to drive across America. Then I showed him the air horn. Now, if you've ever heard a semi-truck air horn up close, you know that thing will shake the ground. Silas grabbed the cord, pulled it, and that horn blasted across the whole parking lot. Cars stopped, people turned around, but Silas just started laughing. That deep, pure kind of laugh that only a kid can have. And that smile, man, that smile could light up the darkest day. For that moment, he wasn't a kid fighting heart defects. He wasn't a patient. He wasn't someone doctors were worried about. He was just a kid having the time of his life. And it only lasted a couple minutes, but somehow, those couple minutes stayed with me. Out of thousands of miles, thousands of stops, thousands of people I've crossed paths with, Silas is one of the ones I'll never forget. Over time, we stayed loosely in touch. Not constantly, not every day, but enough that I knew Silas kept fighting. Kids like him, they have a strength most adults will never understand. But recently, I got news that stopped me cold. Silas was at home when something suddenly went wrong. His oxygen levels dropped dangerously low, so low that he actually turned blue. An ambulance was called immediately, but the situation was so serious that the doctors decided the drive would take too long, so they called Life Flight. They flew him to Vanderbilt. From what I've been told, this all started with pneumonia. And for someone like Silas, someone with his heart condition, that's a very dangerous situation. Right now, he's in intensive care. He's on a vent. He's on 90% oxygen, and the way it's been explained to me, one side of his heart is pumping way too hard. The doctors know they need to go in and help him, but right now, they can't, because he's too fragile. They're waiting for him to stabilize, waiting for his body to get strong enough. And when you hear something like that about a kid you met years ago, a kid whose smile stuck with you, it hits different. Because suddenly, that memory at the Circle K isn't just a nice story anymore. Now it feels personal. But there was something else I heard that honestly shook me. Apparently, when Silas was in the hospital, he asked about me. Now think about that for a second. I'm just a truck driver he met at a gas station a while ago. Just a guy passing through, but somehow, that moment in the truck stayed with him too. That couple minutes behind the wheel, that air horn blast, that little taste of freedom. Sometimes, the smallest moments in life are the ones people remember the longest. I didn't make this episode for views. I didn't make it for drama. I made it because sometimes the road puts people in your life that you were meant to remember. And Silas is one of those people. Silas has been fighting his whole life. More hospital rooms than playgrounds. More machines than toys. But if you saw that smile the day he pulled that air horn, you would understand something about that kid. His spirit is strong. Stronger than most people I've ever met. Silas does have a Patreon where people can follow his journey and help if they want. I'll leave the link below. I'm not here to pressure anybody. Everyone has their own struggles. But if this story touched you, sharing his story alone can help. Because sometimes a kid fighting a battle like this deserves the world to know he's still fighting. Out of all the miles I've driven across this country, Silas is the story I'll never forget. And Silas, if you ever hear this, just know there's a truck driver out here still rooting for you. And I know I'm not the only one. Because sometimes, the strongest people we ever meet are the smallest ones. This is Midnight Roads and Real Talk.